Hey guys, what is up? Kevin Cage back with another cryptocurrency video. If it's your first time to the channel, for daily news and info on the digital asset space, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get right into it. So today I'm actually going to be talking about one of the greatest threads ever compiled about screenshots, proof, and connections that does connect Ripple, the private company, to a direct link with over 580 banks. Some of those, a good percentage of those, are actually central banks as well. But again, I want to start off with some other important tweets and information. So really actually have a question for you guys besides just covering XRP, since really, we know it's stabilized for the time being until we see some utilization, and then eventually as that liquidity builds, it'll go up. And I believe it'll be the dominant monster in the cryptocurrency space, far surpassing Bitcoin thanks to utility. For the time being, you might be able to get some gains in some altcoins as well. So I want to know what you guys are looking at in terms of different altcoins. Altcoins meaning alternative coins, not necessarily just Bitcoin. And I want to know your guys' recommendations. I will consider doing some videos on the most popular. But again, I want to believe in the project. I want to make sure that it is legitimate. I do not want to steer anybody in the wrong direction. And just know that this is not financial advice. This is only my opinion. Make sure you get, various sources, do some research, take time, and do not invest emotionally. But one thing that has, my eye is Chainlink. And if you guys understand, the project, I'm happy to kind of cover it. But basically, they want to make it possible. It's an ERC20 token, which means it runs on the Ethereum blockchain. And Chainlink wants to make it possible for all these blockchain-based smart contracts to connect to any and all external systems, connect right to the APIs. And there's actually a huge need for it. And it's a little different in terms of speculating because obviously for XRP settlement, it's a little easier to calculate the potential if we add the global remittance market, we add multiplier effects, we, play with the circulating supply and how much is held. It's easy to get that estimate, long-term or mass adoption of, $500, $2,000 per token, or, even $100 or $50 per XRP. But with something like this has never been seen before either. So Chainlink, Quant Network, they're a little harder to quantify. So I'm very curious what you guys think. And again, you have to find these early projects. I know a lot of people usually, will go through a pump and then we're getting it on the way down and sometimes it never pumps again. But again, I still think that link has a great future. I'm by no means telling you to buy it. I'm just letting you know where my thoughts are and sharing because I am a long-term believer in ADA, Cardano ADA as well. But it's been very, very quiet lately, so I'm going to stop talking about it until I see some movement. But remember, as me, and as the digital asset investor said in his great video today, a contrarian investor goes against the grain. So for me, I really aim to be like that, and I buy when the streets are bloody. I buy projects when nobody talks about them, when they think they're going to zero. That's when I take advantage as an investor, and I stay quiet. So I'm not telling you what I'm purchasing, but just know I have my eye on Link. For example, if you're looking at, this following, and this is a great thread by David Miller here, and he's just talking, look at Link, only 20K followers on Twitter versus all of these other altcoins, and it is still just getting started. So there could be a potentially bright future. Again, I've looked at the credentials of this project. It is not a scam. It is my belief, and I want to put this video right now, and please don't take it as FUD. There may be some bad news in the future with a lot of ERC20 tokens, and there might cause an initial dump. But then after that, I still believe the sky's the limit for these projects. There's a lot of manipulation going on and a lot of things that, different hackers and coders are doing to manipulate the numbers. So I'm going to stay vague with that, but sorry if I, address that. And next, I know you guys saw that video with Kevin OLeary. And for those of you that don't know, Kevin OLeary is the gentleman in Shark Tank oftentimes. And there was that video of him recently talking in 2019, bashing Bitcoin, bashing cryptocurrency, just calling it all crypto crap. But there's a new video that came out in 2013, and they play it side by side, and he's on the news again, talking about Bitcoin, talking about why it is a great project, why after it hit over $1 billion in market cap, that it is here to stay. It's not going to zero. It might not go to $1 million per token, but it is here to stay. He believes it. And it, explained all the benefits of having a decentralized technology that can be, converted to any fiat anytime at all, 24/7, 365. And he was actually excited about it. But then 2019, he's bashing about it, knowing that, all the bigger players are involved. So what I want to tell you is this. Everybody has an agenda. You have to watch what he does with his money, not what he says. And again, his net worth as of 2017 is estimated to be $400 million USD. So again, he knows what he's doing, but it does not, just because a man has money does not mean everything he says is correct. We are all human with money, with anything. There's always a combination of success, or there's always a combination of luck, timing, and talent. And when those converge, I believe that makes success, or at least that's one of the equations that I consider. But all right, let's get into this really cool thread by the one and only I Am Legion on Twitter. We have to check this out. So one thread to rule them all. And honestly, I couldn't have said it better. So we got 30 banks, and this was all written in 2016, and this is a huge consortium of banks. And we have the links here if you ever want to look. But let's go through this. Be sure to stick around because I want to connect some dots for you guys. And I Am Legion has done some fantastic work. Definite follow on Twitter. So Ripple has proven technology. It is already in operation with banks like Santander, and hopefully you say Fidor, and is being implemented by others. Governments and central banks are interested and supportive of the technology, and among commercial banks, there is a strong desire and appetite to road test the technology with real live transactions. Numerous banks have run internal proof of concepts, as we already know, including the real transfer of money. And if you look at the ledger and you've seen, hundreds of $1 million being moved, absolutely. Probably on and off chain. And 30 have completed pilots and are actively, and go on, next screenshot, the Ripple Enterprise solution is mature enough to launch and scale a cross-border payments network. And a consortium of banks is forming to use this Ripple technology to keep ahead of the competition. So a huge banking consortium, this banking mafia, is keeping everything under wraps. They're making sure that they can utilize this technology, use it before everybody else. I think Q4 is going to bring some very, very interesting developments for us. And as we can see here, source, World Trade Organization, 2016 copyright Accenture, and I'm going to talk about Accenture as well. So now let's go to the next one. And so stay with me here. Now we got R3. We already know they're a huge banking consortium. So back in September 15th, 2015, it was 9 financial companies. Later at the end of that month, 13 more. In October of 2015, 3 more. Later in November, 5 more, 30 total. And again in December of 2015, 12 more, but they're not really included in this. 2016, 2 more. So let's take a peek again, R3 for all you newcomers. It's an enterprise blockchain company. It leads an ecosystem of more than 300 firms today working together to build distributed applications or decentralized applications on top of Corda. And Corda, also known as Core dApps, Corda, decentralized applications, distributed applications, for usage across industries such as financial services, insurance, healthcare, trade finance, and digital assets. And I've also believed that in terms of financial services, you could also argue that, real estate is involved. And this is what I say time and time again, R3 is going to be a monster. Also, what I think that should be added in here is real estate, supply chain management, and potentially even biotechnology in the future, because I think DLT is going to play a fundamental role in this. And so R3 is a huge monster. On their website, they've already said that they're going to be using XRP as the first settlement mechanism on Corda. And again, this is perfect because it is a private blockchain network for these huge banks to function off of and increase, their bottom line, lower operational costs, and transfer in real time. And I'm talking settlement. This is what the banks want. So the consortium started in 2015 with 9 financial companies, as I Am Legion said. So we got Barclays, BBVA, Bank of Australia, Royal Bank of Scotland, UBS. Next, we got Bank of America, BYNE Mellon, Citi, Deutsche Bank, HSBC. We got MUFG, which is a huge monster in Japan. We have Morgan Stanley, National Australia Bank, Royal Bank of Canada. I could go on. I just like that video I did yesterday of showing the top 75 banks by net worth and showing how many of them are actually currently Ripple partners or how many of them have actually tested and piloted Ripple technology. Now remember, some of you are going to say, oh, well, they only tested Xcurrent and XVIA because the standard interface is nice and Xcurrent, so they can use messaging and still, real time and possibly use it as a competitor to some type of Swift product or Swift GPI. But you're not getting it because settlement is the issue. Real-time gross settlement, RTGS systems, is the goal. And remember, the only software product that can do that is XRapid, which utilizes the native digital asset XRP. Now, I know this bear market is getting to a lot of you, but you have to look at this long-term perspective. Don't look and say, oh, my digital assets have been going down for 1.5 years or almost 2 years now. I don't get it. Well, you know what? Sell if you want, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here when everybody is afraid and the price stays at this price and everyone leaves. That's when I'm going to capitalize. So look at this proof. Again, This is a marathon, not a sprint. But as a long-term investor, and I know I have a lot of mature people following me compared to, other altcoin communities, this is here to stay. All right, so look at these connections. Now we go to the next one here. Additional 5 banks. Look, we got Wells Fargo, huge groups. Santander again, Scotiabank, US Bank Corp, Westpac. The proof is right in front of you. Next, Accenture and Ripple. And as I was talking about, so Accenture, Fortune 500 company, they provide all kinds of services in terms of strategy, consulting, digital technology and operations. And they're well over $150 billion in terms of net worth. So they entered into an alliance with Ripple, the private company. Like, guys, they're actually forming these partnerships. This is really happening, and this has happened, but for some reason, nobody's talking about this. And all these other goofy YouTubers that are talking about some altcoins that, are going to moon aren't actually talking about real proof and real partnerships, real proof of concepts that have been tested. I mean, for God's sake, Ripple, the private company, owns equity in the second largest money transfer system or service in the world, MoneyGram. And MoneyGram's CEO has been praising Ripple recently. And again, they said that they were going to be launching and rolling out more and more. And that's why I'm excited for Q4. This is exactly what we need. It has to be a slow and steady climb before we're really going to see everything multiply in increments. And that's my personal belief. But again, people from Ripple have been saying this all along. So Accenture was established in an alliance with Ripple in 2015. Ripple provides the only enterprise DLT or distributed financial technology to banks that enables faster cross-border payments delivering real-time certainty for every settlement. Now remember, maybe Ripple does have a place working domestically in the United States, but remember, it's much faster just to send USD to USD. But when you go cross-border, you need a middleman, you need a bridge asset. So if we're sending USD to, Japanese yen in terms of the fiat, we need XRP as that agnostic middleman, and that is much faster settlement than the current system today. And arguably much less volatile as well. Instead of waiting 3 to 5 days on the system where currencies, if you've ever traded in the foreign exchange market, fluctuate, if you can't wait 3 to 5 seconds when all is said and done, and really Ripple is already pretty stable, and the goal is to have it at a much higher price to transfer much higher value and be stable, it already looks like it's succeeding. Like, I am beyond excited, guys. And sorry if this is too much hype, but I'm showing you legitimate documents that I Am Legion has pulled out. All right, 2016. Now we have Swift and Accenture outline path. And remember, Accenture helps businesses with strategy. They're literally outlining the path to DLT adoption within financial services. We're not talking insurance. We're not, you know what I mean? And granted, insurance, of course, is still going to need a medium of value like XRP to transfer value. But let's just pretend it's financial services alone with cross-border remittance. Either way, we capture even 3% of this market. You are going to look at a huge gain on your XRP investment. So we got Swift, and again, Swift is the current infrastructure, 11,000 plus institutions that rule the market today. It's 40 plus years old in terms of legacy services. It's old, and it's frankly embarrassing. And a lot of people have said it's embarrassing that you can order a package on Amazon and have it arrive to your house sooner than you can get a payment overseas. Next, and again, this is now showing Accenture and R3. Gosh, this is the best thread I've ever seen. Like, thank you. And again, I Am Legion always gives credit to people, but he does great research as well. But I know that, he teams up with a lot of the great researchers in the XRP community like Darren Moore and so on. So I know there's a lot of credit to be given, and it's to everybody in the XRP community, everyone that finds this stuff, everybody that retweets it, shares it, spreads it out, because we are all in this together to spread awareness for the everyday people, because otherwise, the central banks just continue to profit. And again, Michael Zischek on YouTube actually argues, and he shows the mathematics that, okay, how can so many people become a multimillionaire overnight when this thing really, skyrockets? Well, if you actually look, there's arguments that they want to make this occur quickly because the payback period for the banks, meaning when they make their money back. So if there was a one-time payout to all these XRP holders just to get over and start this, technology revolution, they're looking at maybe a payback period of like 11 months or 15 months, in meaning it would, after the initial payout of paying all of us to be multimillionaires for building that liquidity on that network and just taking that risk, banks would actually start profiting and make their money back within 11 to 15 months. And that is in exchange for completely revamping this entire system, this entire financial system that has been old and costing way too much money for far too long, and creating a new world of efficiency. You see why I'm excited about this. So R3 is an enterprise software firm working with over 100 banks, FIs, regulators, trade associations, professional services firms, and technology companies to develop Corda, its DLT platform designed specifically for financial services. 2017, Accenture entered into an alliance with R3 and is a preferred implementation provider for its Corda platform. So they're working on strategy. And it's funny to see because R3, of course, is, working directly with XRP. And Accenture is working with Swift. So I'm sure that R3 is the clever way to handle the Swift network so that Ripple, the private company, cannot really take too much share of Swift, or it's at least its attempt. But I still believe that Ripple will be largely responsible for cross-border remittance, whereas R3 will try to be the monster that really promotes XRP for all other financial services and industries, just as you know what industries it's in currently. All right, Accenture Interoperability. New interoperability solution. Accenture connects Hyperledger Fabric, Corda, Quorum, and DA. And again, look at this. Developing a two-way solution to transform enormous potential of existing DLT platforms into a synchronized business process. Now, here we go. This is exciting with SIA, or, also SIA, and it is SIA Group, and they are a behemoth. We've talked about them so many times in my channel, so go ahead and look at the cryptocurrency playlist and just browse through. Listen on 2x speed so you don't get bored, but it is full of information, and if you have time during this bear market to learn about how this financial ecosystem works, to be more confident in your investment and understand to ignore the trolls in the comments, you're going to be here for a while. All right. So SIA and R3 partnered to accelerate the adoption of blockchain applications by 600 banks and corporates. 600 banks, I've read over 580, but I guess, maybe they're ballparking, or you could argue that there's different tier 1 and tier 2 and tier 3 banks connected to this, but let's just go like the press release says. So let's just assume 600 banks. Let's see what SIA and Ripple Connections now, because you know that R3 partnered with them. So we can see right here, SIA, and I believe this is their new project, SIA Chain, for complete infrastructure 24/7, 365 for all of their clients and banks that need complete on-time, and they're working on real-time gross settlement. So we have R3, of course, here, Community 1, and then you still see Ripple here. And look, there's the public blockchain network, and just showing that these two groups are in SIA's view. And this is automatically connecting to 580 plus, if not 600 plus banks on the SIA network, because SIA has plenty of clients, and they're very reputable in their space. And as I've said, SIA Chain. So we get the blockchain DLT infrastructure with unique sets of features, or a set of features. So we have private distributed blockchain architecture. Oh, and right here it says 580 plus. I believe it says nodes. So I guess these nodes, right, with the banks. So based on SIAnet, SIA's private network connecting 580 plus clients globally. So I guess we could just round up and say 600. Of course, it'll probably grow as well, especially if these clients are seeing success. Direct or private cloud implementation, centralized services for decentralized solutions, and lastly, multiple DLT platforms that they're working with. Corda uses XRP. Ethereum, awesome. Ethereum can be used on the XRP ledger as well. Ripple uses XRP. Hyperledger Fabric, also a huge player in different business processes. I believe, smart contracts are going to play a huge part in all of this as well. So very, very exciting times, guys. And again, real-time gross settlement, RTGS. 19 central banks adopt SIA solutions. Central banks, monsters. Remember, this is on the settlement layer that XRP will be targeting and solving. Not the messaging layer, not just the application layer, the entire hierarchy. Oh, and look at this. We got applications, platforms, and infrastructure. You got these groups. You got SIA Chain on application layer. You see SIA Chain and infrastructure. And then, of course, we have Corda on the platforms. We have different things. We even have, Quorum. But if you take a peek, what is that all application, platform, infrastructure, everything? Ripple. And right here, look, we even have AWS, Amazon Web Services, Azure. We have some freaking monsters, guys. This is why I'm excited. And this is why I have such high hopes that if XRP succeeds, whether Ripple brings it out, whether Swift adopts it, whether R3 brings it out, whether, SIA Chain fully implements it, whether SBI really takes care of it in Japan, we have so much going for this project. This is why I'm excited. All right. And hopefully we're almost done here, guys. Stick with me. This is some good information, and it's necessary that we all know how this ecosystem works and how it's connected with some of the biggest players in the world. Swift and R3. Swift to bring benefits of GPI to DLT and trade ecosystems. Initial proof of concept to connect GPI with blockchain enterprise software firm R3. And this is in 2019 of this year, so this is getting more recent. Things are picking up. So we got the proof of concepts now to connect Swift GPI with R3. Wonder why. Next, R3 and SBI. Almost forgot about these guys. SBI Holdings. Partner for new venture to accelerate Corda adoption in Japan. And remember, I also read that article a while back on R3's website that Yoshitaka Kitao is the CEO of SBI or SBI Holdings, SBI Group. And he talks about asset fractionalization, a tokenized economy, and what kind of benefits that this could have. So adoption in Japan will take off. And again, Japan is a huge corridor, one of the major ones. SBI and Ripple now, let's check this out. Yoshitaka Kitao, Ripple insights why SBI Holdings believes so strongly in XRP. And again, granted, this chairman owns a bunch of XRP. He wants to implement XRP in all of Japan as well. And keep in mind that SBI is 60 to 80%, controlled or at least working with SBI. They're a huge consortium of banks as well. So if you're not bullish, I don't know what to tell you guys. Anybody that's commenting hate on this video has not watched the whole video, and they just don't understand basic fundamentals. So not only does it have a clear use case, XRP is faster, cheaper, and more scalable than any other digital asset. Absolutely. And remember, we're not talking about some altcoin ranked 300 on CoinMarketCap. This is something that already has live payment rails, and I don't believe that there's going to be any competition to it. It's too late. We can have central banks, we can have all these big players make their own native digital assets, and that's awesome. That would actually help XRP, but XRP will still be the agnostic bridge currency between everything. I strongly believe it will become the global standard in digital currencies. And again, we're not saying that people are going to be buying their Starbucks with XRP, but we're saying in the institutional world, it will be working on the back end and everyday people will have no idea. SBI Virtual Currencies looks to join XRapid ecosystem. We already know that. Exciting times. I'm hoping that BitTrue as well, the exchange, becomes an XRapid partner because they've kind of been working with them as well. All right, R3 and Instamatch Global, 50 banks. So we got Instamatch Global, intraday, money market solutions. DLT enabling platforms coupling with the DApp with the latest settlements API, R3 Settler or Corda Settler, XRP. Look at this, guys. We're able to offer high speed of payments necessary for execution of intraday trades. Our money market offering on R3 Corda is a highly secure, GDPR compliant DApp, allowing institutional clients across the globe to exchange liquidity. Keyword, this is how you know XRP is involved amongst each other. I mean, feel free to go through this thread. I Am Legion, shared it recently, and this is it's the best thread I've ever seen related to XRP, so I had to cover this. So R3 and XRP now, 2018. Launches Universal Settler application to facilitate global payments on Corda. XRP, the first settlement mechanism. Corda Settler built to ensure seamless settlement of payments on Corda across any payment scheme. And remember, XRP is the best position asset to do this. We are building liquidity over time, getting more and more small-time clients on board. And when this happens, that's why I still use the term flip the switch, because it is going to go up in increments and multiples, each time bigger than the last. And that is my personal belief. And again, R3, the world's leading developer of enterprise blockchain solutions for business. As we know, we are moving as a society towards these newer technologies. So, of course, blockchain is huge, and included with that, of course, blockchain is a type of DLT, but included in this blockchain is cryptocurrencies to transfer this value. I think we're going to see huge pushes towards other industries as well. You could argue, cannabis. You could say virtual reality, augmented reality. You could say voice is going to be huge. You could say cybersecurity. These are the trends. Trends are your friends. And, I'm going to try. I was really inspired by the digital assets video today. Digital asset investors video today, just about the contrarian investor. So I'm really going to try to consider myself that, because that is what I've always felt, but I've never really, made a name for it. So I really like that. So you're probably going to hear me say that all the time, and just know that I give him credit for that name. All right, R3 launches Universal Settler. This is right on R3's website, just so you know. That's old news, but again, exciting times. So guys, honestly, I've been, talking about this so much. I'll finish up with this thread because I don't want this video to be too dragged out. I didn't realize it. I was going to go through a lot more tweets, but I got carried away, and hopefully this information was helpful and impactful to realize, and hopefully just reassure you guys that you are invested in the correct asset long term. You can play with your money. I don't care. You're responsible for it. But again, this is your and my hard-earned cash. So I'm trying to be responsible with it. And again, you might think this is irresponsible, but to each their own. All right. So again, right here, Corda, I believe it's synonymous with the R3 ledger now. And again, well, Corda is really just the decentralized open source platform. And now additional releases of the Corda platform in Q4. There's different SDK software development kits as well. So people, can play and use these toolkits. They're going to automate different asset lifecycle, deliver faster, cheaper asset insurance, registration, trading, and management peer-to-peer 24/7 without intermediaries. And this is this is one of the many use cases that blockchain has, all at the speed of the internet, the new Internet of Value, IOV. All right. We are removing these middlemen, creating a world more of, efficiency and showing, real value between things. And there's going to be a whole new suite of businesses being created upon this as well, just like the .com bubble. So guys, comment down your thoughts below. Let me know if you have any questions. Again, please do your own research. Look at some additional articles and dig deeper and see what else you can find. If you want to, send me a direct message on Twitter, I'm always checking and I'll try to respond in a timely manner. But again, guys, thank you so much. Share this video around on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I don't care. We need to spread the word. Be sure to subscribe. I'm trying to grow this channel in this bear market to show you guys how serious I am about XRP. You're going to have a bunch of new XRP YouTubers that were not in this bear market pop up. And again, just know and pay attention to who really knows what they're talking about. So guys, with that, I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much.